Yeah, man. Let's jump into some college football. Let's recap this championship weekend with some of the results of the championship games. So, um, we had Utah beating USC. What happened? Anybody watch that game? What happened to USC in that
No, I
game?
watched it. Caleb Williams got hurt, so he was
Uh,
kind of, you know, stationary towards the end of the game. I mean, Utah's just a good matchup for them as well. Like them guys, they fight. They're a good team. So they had already beat them earlier in the season. So couple that, that
oh, so they
win
had
with
already lost. I didn't know that they had. I
yeah,
didn't. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
check
This is the
USC
second
record.
team Utah's beaten. A second time Utah's beaten USC this year. You factor in them already beating them, and then with the hobble quarterback that can't really run, can't escape, can't get out the pocket. I mean, that's almost always going to end up, in a loss. So, yeah. I mean, it was a good game, though. I watched it, a lot of it. It was a good game. But
What about that Kansas State and TCU?
watched that one, too.
I watched it. I did watch that one. That was entertaining.
Another very, very good game. And I'm actually glad to see that TCU didn't fall because of that, because it was a very good game.
Yeah,
Very good
I
game.
don't think they deserve to fall.
Yeah.
Like
Well, a lot of people didn't think they were going to fall because they did. They beat Kansas State early in the season, so
yeah,
I mean it's kind of a wash at that point.
yeah, and I was just like, I wasn't real familiar with this TCU team because it was a new coach and stuff like that. So I was just kind of like, all right, you know how it is. Like they get a new coach, the team rallies. You know what I mean? Like they start
Yeah.
off well, but their last two games I watched their full games. They are a complete team, and you're talking about fast. They are Georgia fast. They may not be
I
as
don't know if
strong
they're
as Georgia.
Georgia
They
tough,
are.
but Georgia
That's what I'm
strong.
saying. They're not. They
Yeah.
probably not as strong as Georgia, but as far as speed, they do have speed. And they play
You,
fast. So
you know
I
how you
really
slow
like
down
that TCU
speed?
team. How do
You
you?
hit them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
That's what Georgia's gonna do. You hit them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
I was
fact.
just. I was very impressed in what I
But
saw.
I mean, the flip side of that, TCU would probably say, "Well, you got to catch us." So
That's probably
You
true
get
too.
caught.
Yeah, but Georgia's fast enough.
we'll
Yeah,
see.
Yeah.
that's great to say.
It's
Yeah.
not like they're
Yeah,
slow.
yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the
I,
statement in general, like
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fair point.
yeah,
But
Georgia,
That's what I used to
Georgia's
say all the
fast
time.
and
You got to
powerful.
catch me first. Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah, Georgia's
I.
fast. They got the speed and the power. So, you
Yeah.
know,
But I think it'll be a great matchup if they meet in the playoffs. So,
it's a
um,
possibility.
it is. LSU and Georgia, that was just a, a butt kicking, ass whooping.
Man,
Like I want to cuss, but I don't want to cuss. Fuck it, they
they
got their
opened
ass
it up on
whooped.
them, man. Yeah, that was what it
I don't
They
want to
got,
cuss.
But it
they got
happened.
their ass whooped.
It
I
That's
happened.
just,
not a surprise though. I
yeah.
don't think that's much of a surprise.
I wasn't
Um,
really shocked by it either.
I
No.
mean, the Tulane winning, Clemson over UNC, which I thought that was going to be more competitive because
Nah.
I
You
think
mean
US
Clemson over UNC, North
UNC,
Carolina?
my fault. Yes, North
Defund the
Carolina.
ACC. I'm sick
I
of it.
thought they were gonna. I thought with
Whole conference?
Yeah, defund the whole conference. Basketball can stick
Clemson.
around, although
Clemson had won
they're
a
kind
couple.
of
Clemson has been in the championship a couple times. How you gonna
yeah.
just say
Make them an independent. That
why?
conference is terrible. Football wise, that conference is terrible. Defund them now.
I mean, you're not lying. You're not. I mean, you're not.
Yeah,
You're not lying.
I mean, Clemson has been the only ones representing for a
I
while.
kind of forgot they
Yeah.
existed.
I'm not taking nothing away from Clemson. But Clemson is
Facts.
still that.
But I mean,
tier.
but
As
if
far
you
as the
think
rest of
about
that
it,
conference, get rid
but
of them.
for a while though, you had the Florida States and the Virginia
Right,
Techs and stuff
right.
representing. So
Right. Florida
it was
State
a
is
time.
slowly coming back around.
That's what I'm saying. So I
Maybe in a year
mean,
or two
to
they'll
say
be
get rid of that conference, it's like it was a
man.
time where the ACC was representing.
From
Uh,
now
So what you're
back a
saying is
few
they basically
years,
the SWAC
they've been
now?
terrible.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
But
Wow.
I missed that. I missed something. I missed that.
no,
We just
What happened?
hey, repeat yourself, Mike.
You know what you did.
I heard it.
So
Jared
you said
didn't hear it.
they basically the SWAC now?
Oh.
sort of similar. I'm pretty sure Jackson State probably could have won a couple conference games now.
Yeah.
Boston
I agree.
College, Miami was terrible. Like I
Yeah.
said, Florida State's getting better. Georgia Tech is terrible.
Yeah.
Syracuse is terrible. They started
kinda-
out being terrible.
Can-
It's just,
Can
Go
I
ahead.
ask you a question,
sir.
Jared? May
Yo,
I direct it to you, but if Ike or Vernon, if one of y'all got to answer this, please feel free. I'm just curious because I saw where Clemson's quarterback DJ Ongale or whatever, however you pronounce his last name,
yeah,
he's transferring out.
yep. Yeah,
So
bench.
my Yeah, I was gonna say. So my question is, well, two. It's kind of two parts. One, is he really? Is he bad? Because like if you look at his numbers aren't terrible. But is he a bad quarterback? And then two, like, where do you think he would go? Like, what's a good fit for him?
Is he a bad quarterback? From Clemson standards, yes.
Okay.
He's been struggling. He's been struggling. I mean, the amount of three and outs that they, and then like I said, they're in a terrible conference.
Yeah.
Clemson should have just ran through unblemished, but they kind of struggled a little bit and like getting beat how they did in South Bend and Notre Dame's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just coming off Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, I
And,
think
and
if
I
you,
feel like
yeah,
he hasn't ascended at all. If
He
anything,
hasn't.
he's like stayed the same or kind of went down from previous years. And in college football, like you can't have that. That one loss will potentially kick you out of contending for a national championship. So to
True.
answer that question, uh, yeah, he's been pretty bad. As far as a good fit, maybe somewhere else in the ACC. I don't know if they're going to allow that. Maybe somewhere smaller, or somewhere where maybe he's surrounded by a lot more talent compared to the competition. Maybe a Louisville.
Okay.
Hell, I really, man, with people being on the move like they are with this transfer portal, I can't even keep
It's
up with where
crazy.
yeah, it's
who even
hard.
has a
It's really hard
quarterback.
to keep up with the
Well,
transfer portal.
You
the
know,
reason, and you brought up something, which is what I wanted to ask you was, would Notre Dame be a good fit for him?
mm,
Because Notre Dame's quarterback hadn't impressed me. I watched a little bit of them,
I
and
know one of them left. One of their
one
quarterbacks
was
left.
left. Okay.
I can't remember if it was the starter or the backup, but he transferred out. I don't know, man. I don't think I don't coming from Clemson. I don't think that would be a good switch. I think he needs something a little lower level. You know what I'm saying? To
Okay.
where
A complete lower level in terms of that.
yeah, to where that gap is a little higher for his potential.
Okay.
Expectation. I think that'll be a better fit for him. So like I said, I'm not saying like go to the SWAC or anything like that, but just a
Hey.
smaller, FBS team like a Louisville or even Georgia Tech might be a good fit for him. Somewhere where the expectations aren't super high. It's not a championship or bust type situation. He'll be all right.
Okay. Cool. I didn't know if he could pull like a Spencer Rattler and maybe kind of salvage himself a little bit. Going
He
somewhere.
could. Yeah, he's not that bad. I feel like he could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like he
Okay.
could do that.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about him, but I did look at his numbers. They was talking about because I watched a little bit of that game, that Clemson game, and they just said like again, he's not very consistent.
Right.
Like that's one of the biggest things they was talking about. It's just like it's not that he's bad. It's just the consistency ain't there. And that's college football. College football, your record usually shows how consistent you've been. You know what I mean? And quarterback is probably one of the most important positions that you got to be consistent at.
Right.
And I just
Especially
think
when
that
when there's a 5-star sitting behind you as well.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
sort of the situation was very similar to Kelly Bryant, I believe his name was, when they put Trevor in. You
Yep.
got a 5-star QB waiting in the wings, and Dabo's just not a guy that's gonna sit on a situation where he don't think it's maximizing. So he made the choice to go to Trevor Lawrence back in the day. That worked out for him, and he did it here with this kid Klubnik.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, you good.
Oh, I thought Ike said that. I thought Ike was saying he had a question.
No.
So yeah, that's championship week. A small recap of some of the championship games for this weekend. Of course, Michigan beat Purdue by 21. So that was another smack in the mouth.
Defund. I'm in my defund mood today.
I see.
Defund conference
This
championship.
defund
Like get
everybody.
rid of them. Get rid of them. Especially if you're gonna split them in the half and try to pick one. Purdue was what 8-75, 8-5, 75. You made a conference championship. I mean, put somebody else in it.
I was never mind. I ain't even gonna. I'm not saying a
Get rid of it.
word.
Especially since
We
we're
gonna move
expanding the
forward.
playoffs. Get rid defund conference championships
All
immediately.
Hey, look. I done said my piece about conference
Get
championships
rid of them.
before,
Gotta
and
go.
I'm done.
Yeah, we don't want
So,
to hear you argue for Alabama no more.
yep, there it is. So, um, so moving on, we got a couple of the bowl games. I'm not going through all of these bowl games, just some of the key ones. You got Notre Dame number 20 against South Carolina in the Gator Bowl, December 30th. Alabama, Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl. Uh,
What
New
are we
Year's
talking
Eve,
about this?
which we were talking about why they put these games on New Year's Eve and how frustrating it's gonna be. People gonna be
Terrible.
hanging out and partying. Nobody really wants to have to concentrate and tune in to their
Choose
teams
between
playing football.
football and family.
Right, right. So
Because football's
it's
gonna win for me a lot of those times. But hey, don't tell nobody.
look, you're about to get me in trouble. I know your wife.
The single man of the group
Keep
couldn't
that.
care
Keep that.
less.
Let's keep that on the low.
We'll keep that. We'll keep that here. You got Tennessee and Clemson in the Orange Bowl.
That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a really good game. Tulane and USC in the Cotton Bowl. Penn State and Utah in the Rose
That's gonna be
Bowl.
fire too.
And then you get into the first round of the playoffs, which is you got the Fiesta Bowl, which is TCU and Michigan, and the Peach Bowl, which is Ohio State and Georgia. So it's a lot of good bowl games. I think this is some of the best matchups, far as
Oh yeah,
some
I
of the
agree.
top ranked teams. They got some random ones that I won't speak on because it's like
Please
30
don't.
of them.
Flaming hot
We don't
Cheeto
want to hear
ball.
about
Yeah.
the suck me off bowl, bro. Like,
Right,
no.
right, right. So these are some of the main ones. I just wanted to keep it on that tip as far as the main ones. Yeah. So moving on from that, we got to talk about some of the new news in.
I just want passion, love attraction, let me live that shit. I just like passion, see I'm passing, ready for the medicine. You catch me, I just want passion, love attraction, let me live that shit.
Phone charge on its last light. Same clothes I'm from last night. Still lit like it's last night. Young living in the fast life. Young. Smoke cloud from the ash pipe. Catch air from the half pipe. I need a centerfold from the shows with the mansion. Chandelier dancing. Counting a phantom. Yeah. Been had hella Franks, Venice ballpark figures. Might be in the field, but I came from the trenches. You can tell it's my time, look at better squint. I do like the charm on my wrist, let me flip. Want me pay the way, I'm the wave, I'm authentic. Sitting courtside, got a sprain. Nigga, I bring the gang for the gang. Nothing but a thing when I sing. Young Usain, I sprinting. Getting fresh prints. Counting a blessing on blessing on blessing. They call me the reverend, y'all nigga play too much.